Hi, Sayu Rinpoche here, and welcome to Sayu's Guide channel. This time, I'm on board the MSC Seascape. The 339 meters long and 74 meters high MSC Seascape is a Seaside EVO class cruise ship that was first launched by MSC in 2022. Prior to embarking the cruise, I did a full research of the ship and roughly had an idea of what my experience will be like. I was quite excited to see whether this so-called masterpiece of innovation and technology indeed matches its reputations. Now we're on board the actual ship. Let's see if it meets our expectations. I will be breaking our review into 5 different categories: stateroom, food and beverage, amenities, entertainment, and service. There will be 2 subsections for each category, and each subsection is worth 10 points. This is how points will be given. For instance, 0 means a complete disappointment or a total disaster, 5 means meeting the expectations, and 10 means perfection and completely exceeding the expectations in every single way. In the end, I'll add up all scores and you will see a final score out of 100 and the letter grade similar to what you see in school report cards. Again, 0 means absolutely no good, 50 means pass, and 100 means full score and perfect in every way, which I do not expect this to be given to any of our reviews anyways. Now, the question is, where does MSC Seascape stand? Did it meet my expectations? Well, I guess this time, we're gonna find out together. Let's first start with the stateroom. For this category, I will be dividing the review into the stateroom's overall design and functionality, which is worth 10 points, and my staying experience, which is worth another 10 points. I stayed at a regular inside cabin on mid-floor and mid-ship location. We did pay a little extra to choose this cabin, so the layout and experience may not fully reflect other cabins on the same ship. The stateroom overall is bigger than I thought, but still on the small side. Despite the room had no windows, the decor and lighting certainly made up for it. The stateroom was nice and cozy, and I never felt depressed once during my 7 nights on board. The twin beds were of regular cruise ship size and can also be combined into a double bed upon request. The stateroom had plenty of drawers and a cabinet. While the number of drawers were more than enough, I secretly wished that the space for hanging jackets and dresses could be larger, as not everyone wants to fold jackets and dresses into drawers. There were also a stool and a chair for sitting. I certainly prefer having the chair replaced with a small sofa, since there were enough unused floor space for this arrangement. As for the bathroom, it was bigger than I expected. The shower space was a bit compact, but nonetheless adequate. There was also a clothesline inside the shower where you could hang your wet clothes. Otherwise, the bathroom was bright and had lots of racks and spots to put your toiletries and towels. My overall impression of the stateroom was positive. Certainly met my expectations. I'd give it 7 out of 10. As for my staying experience, the stateroom was dark once you turn all the lights off and surprisingly very quiet 24 hours a day. This is a really nice bed. Despite being a stateroom with no windows, the ventilation and air conditioning system worked really well. The stateroom was cleaned every day by our cabin steward to the highest level of satisfaction. We did encounter 2 issues. Number 1 being overcharged for minibar items we never consumed, and number 2, a clogged sink. Both were resolved with no concerns in the end. Guest service also phoned our cabin a few times to ensure that our issues and requests were taken care of. I was very satisfied with my 7-night stay in this interior stateroom. And I think 8 out of 10 is a fair score to reflect my experience. In total, MSC Seascape scored 15 out of 20 in the stateroom category. Definitely better than how I imagined after seeing all the cabin pictures, watching different walkthrough videos posted by other YouTubers, and hearing complaints made by past cruisers on their own experiences on this ship's cabins before my own embarkation on board MSC Seascape. Now, let's talk about the next category, food and beverage. We will be looking at the variety and quality of offerings, which is worth 10 points, and the dining experience, which is worth another 10 points. I did not go to any of the specialty restaurants, nor did I get a drink package. I only bought gelato a few times on board, and that means everything I'm about to review are completely included in the basic fare you pay, with gelato being the only exception. There are two places you can go for complimentary dining: the Marketplace Buffet on Deck 16 and one of the complimentary dining rooms assigned to you by the cruise. Let's start with the buffet. It opens for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Each day, there might be some rotations of what's being served, but I believe most of the offerings are the same every day. Coffee, including both regular and decaf, a wide selection of tea, water from the water machine, and flavored drinks are self-served at one of many drink stations and are completely complimentary. As for the quality of the buffet, I prefer eating at a complimentary dining room much better. One thing that stood out was the pizza. You have to come to the buffet for these. They're absolutely a delight. Not just to eat, but also see how it's made right in front of your eyes. Overall, for the offerings and the quality of the buffet, I say they are good, but not good enough to make it my first choice when it comes to dining on board. I just like the complimentary dining room way better. All 4 dining rooms have the same menus, so you are not really getting anything different if you sneak into another one that is not assigned to you by the cruise. Dining rooms generally open for breakfast and dinner only, except on sea days when they serve brunch into the lunch hours. They do have different dinner menus every day, with some dishes like New York strip steak available throughout the cruise. Each night the menu features a specific theme, like a Caribbean-focused menu or the signature Italian night, which goes beyond the menu. For breakfast at the complimentary dining room, the menu was always the same. On sea days, there was also a brunch menu that you can try different brunch dishes from different countries. I absolutely loved this idea. If you don't have a drink package, you'll be served ice water like what you get at the buffet. So no need to panic, and the servers totally understand that. During breakfast, you'll be served coffee, tea, or juice. Again, no extra charge. Like mentioned earlier, the dining room was my preferred option over the Marketplace Buffet. The offerings are well presented, and the overall quality is visually higher than the buffet, even though you might find some of the same dishes at both venues. The taste of the dishes also exceeded my expectations, except only 2 dishes: the lamb shank and the mussels. But 2 items out of everything also shows you that on average, the taste and quality of the offerings, at least to my standards, are very satisfactory and certainly exceeded my expectations. I'm also going to say something about the only food item I paid extra on during the 7 nights cruise: gelato from Venchi. I was so glad that you could find authentic Italian gelato on board. The price was also quite reasonable, even cheaper than some of the so-called gelato shops in port cities we visited. When I saw the huge lineups formed by cruisers from other ships at these gelato shops, I was quite amused that I didn't have to be one of them, because our ship, MSC Seascape, already had possibly the best gelato you can find anywhere within a radius of the entire country we were in. And the best of all, there were barely any lineups at either one of the 2 Venchi shops on board every time I went to grab a gelato. Overall, the quality and variety of food and beverage offerings, at least for the things I tried out, were satisfactory. with the complimentary dining room leading the way. I think 7 out of 10 would be a fair score. As for my dining experience, let's go back to the buffet. The buffet has different sections that serve the same food, so there is always a way to work around the crowding issue. You just go to a different section that's far from the main entrance and elevators. Personally, I never had any problems finding a seat during my entire cruise, and dirty plates were taken care of way faster than I expected. As for the complimentary dining room, service was always above and beyond, and going to the dining room was actually something I looked forward to all the time. You can also easily check out the menus each day on the MSC app, which was super convenient so that you know what's being served. Some cruisers said that there should have been more complimentary food venues on board, as I totally understand that many would prefer to grab some quick bites close to wherever they are, like pools, casinos, etc. I think instead of having one giant buffet on deck 16, it's a good idea to have smaller venues scattered around the ship. For my dining experience on board MSC Seascape overall, I gave it 8 out of 10. In total, MSC Seascape scored 15 out of 20 in the food and beverage category. Another solid, better than expected category after hearing all the praises and complaints about this ship before being on board. Let's move on to the next category, amenities. MSC Seascape is a huge ship, and I admit that one of the reasons why this cruise got chosen was partly because of the amenities. Being advertised as one of the most technologically advanced cruise ships, I had high hopes for MSC Seascape. We will be looking at the availabilities of amenities on this ship, which is worth 10 points, and my user experience, which is worth another 10 points. MSC Seascape has enough amenities that after a 7 nights cruise, I felt there were still places that either I haven't tried out or I could check out at least one more time. Here are some of the amenities on board that I went to check out in person. Amenities located on deck 16 and above are where all family-friendly facilities like the pools, kids and teenage clubs, water slides, and arcade games are located. Oh, let's not forget about the marketplace buffet on deck 16 as well. This area has some of my favorite amenities on board MSC Seascape, which I will explain a bit more in details later when we talk about the user experiences. Towards the back of the ship on deck 16, you will find the skybar and the bridge of sighs, one of the ship's star attractions. Looks kind of scary. Right behind the marina pool on deck 18 and facing the bridge of sighs on deck 16, you will find the ship's panoramic elevator. It will take you down to deck 8. Deck 5, Deck 6, Deck 7, and Deck 8 are where you will find most of other amenities on this ship. The very back of Deck 8 is an adult-only pool area, and right next to it, a smoking area. This part of the ship is connected by the waterfront promenade, a horseshoe-shaped circuit where you can take a walk and find more loungers for sunbathing. On Deck 8, you'll also find popular amenities like the gym, a specialty coffee shop, and the sports bar, where you'll find lots of sports fans on days when there are football matches. Deck 6 and Deck 7 are where most of the entertainment facilities are located, many of them spanning both levels. The front section of Deck 6 and Deck 7 is where the Chora Theater is. This is the ship's main theater where the evening shows take place. On the way out from the theater, you'll find the strategically located casino. At the very back of the ship, there is La Cabaret Rouge, a club-style smaller performance venue where serves as a second stage for various performances. No matter where you go, you will certainly pass by the two atriums of the ship. Obviously, there is the main atrium, which features the ship's famous Swarovski crystal decorated stairs. You will also find a much smaller second atrium that took inspirations from New York City's Times Square, the Liberty Plaza. This is where you can catch some performances and do some dance classes. There are also some what I call hidden tourist attractions that are Instagrammable but serves no other real functions, scattered around Deck 6 and Deck 7. Very nice. As you can see, there was something for pretty much everyone, no matter if you're a toddler or a senior. Overall, I would rate the availabilities of amenities on board MSC Seascape 8 out of 10. As for the user experience, because MSC Seascape is still relatively a new ship, The amenities are still considered cutting edge and in great conditions. Or let's put it this way, the entire ship is very Instagrammable. I did spend a lot of time chilling on the higher deck fun areas, namely the sunbathing locations, the water slides, jacuzzi tubs, and pools. Here are some in-person experience reviews of my favorite section of the entire ship, the Pirate Cove Water Park and water slides.
Alright, let's do this. This is easy. Okay, what? That was a mud. Alright, now it's my turn. Alright, there we go. Cool. Cool story. Holy
Otherwise, there are always sunbeds available, and whenever I wanted to go for a swim or take a plunge into the jacuzzi tub, there was always space. Sometimes I needed to move between decks, so your knowledge of where everything is will be crucial in improving your onboard experience. But not necessarily everyone will be a master of this kind of knowledge. Long answer short, yes, sometimes the pools and sunbeds are busy, unless you know where to find the other ones, which I acknowledge that it might not be convenient to some fellow cruisers.
Yep.
The same goes with the elevators. The main ones could be busy during rush dining or show times. You might end up waiting for a long time and only realize that the elevator you've been waiting for is completely full. But there are always certain ones that are literally empty and no wait somewhere on the same deck. You just need to know where they are and check the wait times. Tip: the panoramic elevators at the very back of the ship were generally less busy than the ones close to the front. The lower deck amenities are mostly entertainment related. I'm going to talk about the entertainment experience in the entertainment category. But in terms of the conditions of these amenities, like mentioned earlier, MSC Seascape is still a relatively new ship, so everything was in good working conditions. The amenities already included in the basic fare totally exceeded my expectations, especially when you consider that MSC generally charge less than their competitors. As for paid options, I found the price point for family fun stuff not really that family friendly, and was reflected through the amenities being empty most of the time. I think if they charge a more reasonable price for their paid amenities, more people are going to partake. In the end, people enjoy more of the ship's amenities at a lower cost, and the cruise will be making money from amenities that otherwise will be sitting there collecting dusts. It's a win-win for everyone.
Okay, why does the arcade have surprise like this?
Please note that I did not check out the spa of the ship, so I'm not qualified to comment on that. Based on my user experience of amenities on board, I'd give it 7 out of 10. For the amenities category, MSC Seascape scored yet another 15 out of 20. Let's move on to entertainment. In this category, we'll be looking at the variety of offerings, which is worth 10 points, and my experience, which is worth another 10 points. There were definitely more events planned than I could even attend. Some were happening simultaneously in different locations of the ship. After spending 7 nights on board, I still regretted of missing at least half of the scheduled events, while I tried my best to attend the other half. Like mentioned in the amenities category, the Chora Theater and Le Cabaret Rouge are the ship's 2 performance venues, where you get to watch the main evening shows in the Chora Theater and various different smaller scale shows like juggling, singing, or acrobatic performances at Le Cabaret Rouge. The main evening shows were mostly Broadway-style singing and dancing, with one evening featuring a comedy show. I would certainly hope there could be more different genres of performances, rather than the same genre repeating 6 nights out of 7 for the main evening shows. However, the live music you find on board will certainly guarantee that you get to hear different genres. Although I heard from some American cruisers on the lack of tunes they are familiar with, the music scenes on board MSC Seascape is pretty international, and to be honest, I like it. Our 7-night cruise featured 2 themed evening events during our voyage: Gala Night and White Night. Gala Night is the event that guests are encouraged to dress up in their formal wears. The dinner menu on Gala Night also tends to be the nicest as well. By the way, my everything is cheap. I'm no high class. I'm all fake high class.
Let me tell you something, guys. I do not consider this as high class.
The Gala Night evening coincided with one of the silent disco evenings, so we ended up dancing in the main atrium in our formal wears, and many of us sang a certain Justin Bieber song together. White Night, like its name suggests, is for one evening that guests are encouraged to dress everything white. We did have a party on the pool deck specifically for White Night. Despite parties associated with both theme nights generally won't start until at least 10 p.m. The parties are surprisingly family friendly, and I've seen participants from the age of 8 to 80. You will also find game shows, dance classes, and a lot more. You can get detailed schedules and venues information from your MSC app. For the variety of entertainment options, I think 7 out of 10 is a fair score. As for my entertainment experience on board MSC Seascape, obviously I had a lot of fun at both the wet party and the gala night. I also enjoyed the main evening shows as well, except the comedy show, which was geared more towards American audience with jokes that, well, only Americans understand. This might actually be a plus for American friends, as many say MSC is not very good at accommodating American cruisers. Well, there you go. One issue I had was booking the main evening show. I didn't know that you're even supposed to book it via the app until the 3rd day of the cruise. But I had no issues sneaking in without knowing that you need to book when I entered the Chora Theater from Deck 6. Most of the booking checkers were at the main entrances by Deck 7. You guessed it, I entered the Chora Theater via Deck 7 on the 3rd day. And that's how I found out. One observation I had, which kind of bothered me a bit, was that regardless of the show, the main singers were always the same 4 people through all main evening shows. I love to see different performers taking leads during each evening show. Again, it's just me. It's like seeing different movies, but the main cast for every single movie is always Tom Cruise. Another cruise joke. Ha! Overall, I would say my entertainment experience was better than my expectations, but there were also lots of areas that could see more improvements and be even better. I would give it another 7 out of 10. In total, the entertainment category on board MSC Seascape scored a total of 14 out of 20, which is a solid above average. Finally, let's talk about service. In this category, we will be looking at the service at the organization level, which include embarkation, disembarkation, the MSC app, etc., and the service provided by staff. Each subcategory will be worth 10 points. For service at the organization level, there were certainly some good things and some bad things. You can start the embarkation process by checking in online and fill all the required information even before you leave home through the MSC app. However, the app ended up providing us the wrong terminal information, and we had to walk 30 minutes around the peak time Port of Miami to reach the correct terminal.
So, essentially, the website and the emails all tell us to go to Terminal C for boarding. However, in reality, it looks like MSC has a terminal of its own, and it's definitely not Terminal C. You need to walk and for another 20 minutes. And again, there are definitely absolutely no heads up or whatsoever. So,
for info, MSC now has its own terminal inside the Port of Miami, located on the far side of the port. If your app tells you otherwise, chances are it's wrong. But I doubt this will be a problem in the long run as the company starts to correct this kind of information. After all, the new MSC terminal just became operational only the month prior. Otherwise, it would be a shame if they allow this kind of problem to still happen, let's say in a year or so. The actual boarding process was pretty smooth. There was almost no wait for everything, and we boarded the ship in less than 10 minutes at the correct terminal.
alright, now I'm on board. Pretty smooth process.
We were able to find our room cards on the stateroom door and could drop off our bags right away while our stateroom was being cleaned. The safety drill was also really straightforward and convenient. All you need is watching the complete drill, which is available in multiple languages from your stateroom TV. Follow the instructions and give the number shown on the TV a call. Then get to your designated muster station, and you're done. You can do this the moment you arrive in your stateroom, until right before the sailing time. So you won't find a sea of people showing up in a congested space all at the same time. Disembarkation and embarkation at ports of call were pretty smooth as well. No issues whatsoever as long as you have your cruise card with you. The disembarkation on the final day was also very organized, and everyone is disembarked based on assigned time slots. Or if you're carrying your own bags, you can disembark first. The MSC app overall is useful for getting information on board. There is also a function that allows you to chat with other passengers on the same ship, which is completely complimentary. We had an issue with the app when our cruise card and the app showing us two different numbers for our main dining room tables, and staff members appear to be confused by this as well. We ended up having to switch tables a few times on the first 2 days. Not sure what was going on. There was also no way to request beds arrangements beforehand while booking the tickets or doing online check-in. I had to phone MSC customer service ahead of my cruise to request 2 twin beds, although I think you can also speak to your stateroom steward once you're on board. Combining all of my experiences together, I think 5 out of 10 is a good reflection of service at the organization level. It met my expectations, but close enough not to. As for service provided by staff, everyone I met was very friendly and worked very hard to ensure that you will have a great time on board. All of our issues were resolved without problems. Guest services even phoned our stateroom a few times to ensure all of our requests were fulfilled with complete satisfaction. This area was truly a highlight of MSC Seascape, and I believe our 7 days on board would not be the same without the amazing staff members we had. There is almost nothing to complain about, and almost every interaction with the staff was a pleasant one. Therefore, I'm giving the score 9 out of 10 to show you how much I appreciate the service provided by the staff members. In total, MSC Seascape scored another 14 out of 20 for the service category. Now we have rated every single category. Let's take a look at the final score. Combining everything all together, MSC Seascape scored 73 out of 100, which is a lower spectrum B, or B-. What do you think? Have you been on MSC Seascape? And what was your experience like? Please leave a comment below and let me know. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. I will also be posting more on ports of calls we visited during this cruise, so make sure to subscribe to our channel if you haven't already done so. That way, you will be the first one to know once these videos are available. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.